What's up, guys? This is Adam from esportsheaven.com, and I'm here with none other than CEO Alex Jebailey. How you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good, man. Having a good time as usual.
Well, I know that you entered, so why don't you tell the people how it all went?
Tekken 7, I beat Rick from Combo Breaker. That made me happy. But I got fourth in that pool. I did okay. Lost to JDCR, one of the best players in the world. Had fun with that. It's nice to be able to compete because I can't compete at CEO anymore. And I come to EVO every year as a competitor and a fan first. Right. And I had fun. Then Street Fighter 5, I was doing great in winners finals, one round away, and then I got Army Good. And I cracked. I failed, and I lost to another national. So I got eliminated, but I had fun. It was nice to play new players. It's great when people sit down like, hey, I love what you do with your events, and then I beat them, and then they're like, I still like what you do with your events. But I had fun as always. It's always well run. The staff here, I work with the staff on CEO as well, and they do a great job. So.
Yeah, you're mostly known as a tournament organizer, but you have entered events before, stuff like that. Where your competitive origins lie?
I'm the original esports champion. I won the very first ever Blockbuster Video Game Challenge in 1993. I like to still brag about that, sadly, 23 years later. It was on Super Nintendo. Street Fighter 2 Turbo was one of the games. Okay. Won a trip to finals were in Disney World, won a trip to San Francisco. Got to go to Capcom Studios. So as an 11-year-old kid, I'm like, oh my God, So that's where I fell in love with fighting games and Capcom at the time. And then I just grew up, and I had two older brothers that were competitive. We went to pinball machine contests at Fun Machine, other arcades, and I just kept winning. And then 90s, I played Mortal Kombat mostly, Killer Instinct, Street Fighter 2. I would go to arcades with my brothers. My family would go shopping. My mom and sister. And I played a lot. But it was never about winning. It was just having fun, passing the time as a kid. And it just grew. And then college started, and I was in college, and they had an arcade with Capcom versus SNK 2. And that was after 8 years of not really, 4 or 5 years of not really playing in the 90s arcade days because it kind of died out. And I got into the game. I got taught by an old arcade friend of mine, and I got really good at it. And I started winning tournaments, and I started hosting local college ones, 40, 50 entrants at a time. Right. Fast forward later, I graduate college. I'm in the real world. Street Fighter scene's kind of dead. Street Fighter 4 comes out. I'm like, oh my God, get the band back together. All my old friends on the Shuriken website for the EVO owners website. And we just have a Florida forum, hey, who's playing the new Street Fighter? And we're all playing it. And then I went to a tournament, 14-man tournament, and they're like, hey, you seem to know a lot of people. Would you like to host this Street Fighter the next time? I'm like, yeah, sure. It was just Street Fighter at the time. Right now I do 10+ tournament games. And I hosted the event. 89 people showed up. And then I did another 130, and then it just grew. And then the first CO was never a plan. I was never meaning to do that. And it just came out of nowhere, and it just grew. And after it happened, I'm like, you know what? This is still just a hobby. I'm not looking at this to make money. It's just a passion of mine, and it grew, and then every year just keeps doubling. And then now 5,000 attendees at CO this year. It's massive. And now, coming to EVO, walking in, it's the convention feel. So many new faces that are all fans of the games, and I'm learning from this as well because I'm probably moving to a convention center at some point too. And that's where it's gone, and it's exciting, man, because you have so many gaming events, PAXs, the E3s, thousands, 20, 30,000 people go to. We can get there. There's enough of a genre of fighting game fans out there. Street Fighter is such a big franchise, the Smash community, Pokken, all that stuff. So it just keeps growing, and I'm glad to be a part of the ride.
Yeah, it's incredible to see the growth. But before we get into all the tournament organizer stuff, I have to ask you, as you said, you were kind of just focusing on having fun and all that. So for you, it was never a point where you really focus on getting better and trying to be a top competitor, or am I wrong in that saying?
No, it was. I had the real ego of Jebailey's history that I just wanted to win. And every time I won, I would point to everyone, Street Fighter 4 days, my heydays. Right. Be like, guys, remember, when I win, the community wins. Because every tournament I won, I actually went and bought an Xbox 360. I bought an EVO monitor to build up my CO events. So all my equipment is in my garage still from the original Xbox 360 days, and it built up. So it was more, I did enjoy the winning part. I did enjoy the competing because it just felt good. And then over the years, I met so many great people. I think my quote unquote star power from winning those local tournaments is what helped CEO grow, because people trusted me. They knew my face. They could trust who I was. And then, CJ Truth was born. He came to my events. NuckleDo was born. He's one of the best players in the world now. And just all these things that I'm connected to because of my passion for fighting games. But now, it's I'm not regretting not being good anymore or not being able to focus on Street Fighter 5. It's been such a natural progression where I get more enjoyment of people that come to my event and go, this was a great event and this makes me happy. I'm like, that makes me happy. So I don't need to win anymore. I don't really try as hard. I still have fun competing because now I come to EVO, I compete, I do well, and then I lose. I'm like, God dang it, I know I'm better than this. Can't wait for next year, So the competitive spirit is what keeps it healthy and what I do. So I miss being good.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was a few years ago at SCR. You made like top 16 or something. And I was like, oh, okay, so
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so he's not just a tournament organizer, you know?
The NCR organizer, not John Choi, I'm sorry, Kaneda, back in the day, he's like, Jebailey, you're what we call a landmine. You don't know when it's going to pop up, but if you land on it, you're screwed. So, yeah, SCR was good. The very first final round, I got top 16, and I did really well. EVO, I beat Ricky Ortiz in my first EVO back then, yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of what put me on the map outside of Florida. But, yeah, so I still have those moments, but the organizing is better. It's what I was born to do, I think. I still play to have fun. People love playing against me. I love helping people get better, but I'm where I want to be right now.
So, you know, obviously you're known for CEO, and you're falling in a long line of tournament organizers, Big E, Shin Blanca, the Cannon Brothers, you name it, you know. Was this kind of like a gigantic undertaking for you from the onset? Was it like, oh, I want this to be as big as it is right now, or how did you kind of approach it the first time around?
The first time was just to run a great event, have people have fun, don't lose money. That was my, you know, if I was losing money, then why am I doing it? So I've been very fortunate to work with the right people that I can trust. And at first, the first year when I did it was like, let's just get this event done, because we only had 3 weeks to plan, and we didn't want it to fail and make Florida look like a joke at the time. And then I'll never forget one of my best friends, Orlando Suber in Orlando. He actually did the album this year for CEO. Best friend all these years. And we were closing the garage, and we were in like an airplane hangar, 10,000 square foot fairgrounds. And we were closing, and we looked at each other, I'm like, dude, this could be huge one day, you know, because back then Evo was huge even then. Can't imagine, we didn't think Evo would be this big, you know, looking back. But I just looked down, like, people were like, do you want to be bigger than Evo? Do you want to be big? I'm like, I just want to be the best I can be. And it helps to attend. Like, everyone's like, what advice can you give me as an organizer? Go to other events, see what they do right, do what they do wrong, learn from it. So after seeing the numbers of CEO this year, yes, I could be huge. And that's my goal now, is just to keep growing it, but to bring people together. And it's been great because I've given other people opportunities that have helped me. You have, like, for example, Cherry Costa, Raging Cherry, Alex. He works for ESL now. He started out doing CEO Smash events. Right. Now he's over in California living the dream. A lot of other players are getting opportunities with Pokken tournament events, stuff like that. So it's all come together. My vision is to just keep growing it. I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. Evo's proof of that right now. Just, you know, keep running a great event. The word of mouth will get out there. So obviously, without the games, we wouldn't be where we are. So, but Street Fighter V is going to only get better. Smash is not slowing down. You know, you got Injustice 2, Tekken 7's doing great with their premier tours. And all the developers are creating their own tours now. Capcom Pro Tour. Hopefully Nintendo steps in one day and does something with Smash, right? I know. Killer Instinct, KI Cup. So many, like, they're all getting the support. One might not be bigger than the other, but it's growing the scene as a whole. So.
Yeah, it really is incredible. You know, as you said, you did give a little bit of tidbit of advice for those young tournament organizers out there. But when you were organizing CEO, and it kind of just started to become like, oh, this is the next best after Evo. When was that like something that you kind of realized was actually happening, and how did you kind of react to that?
When a lot of people would say it to me, honestly, I never thought it. I'm being genuine when I say it. People are like, you know, your event is just as good as Evo to me. Obviously nowhere near the size or prestigious, but I've been getting a lot of sponsorship support that Evo gets, not as much, but enough to make my event worthwhile and stand out. And I was one of the first Capcom Fighter streamed events, community event streams, so when everyone starts saying stuff and it gets in your ear, you're like, okay, maybe they're right. And I listen to that, and I take all the feedback, the good and the bad, to heart, and it helps me make a better event. But yeah, now I'm confident when people tell me how they feel, and it helps me put on a better event. And like I said, I've gone to Evo the last like 6 out of 7 years. You know, I go almost every year to support it and the scene, but it also helps me network and meet other people. And a lot of companies that sponsored CEO also sponsor Evo. Yeah. So we're all one big community that's really coming together, and I can't wait to see how it goes as long as the developers start stepping in and helping out.
Yeah, seeing things improve year after year is really incredible. You know, as the tournament organizer, what do you do? Like, what do you kind of go through your head and like, okay, how can I make things even better than last year? Because it's kind of hard. Like, oh, we're at the convention center. What's going to happen next? You know what I mean? How do you kind of keep that hype, keep that next thing that's going? Oh, you should come again this year because we're going to have this. I know this year, Kenny Omega, that was a really big thing for a lot of people. Yeah. So how do you kind of approach that?
You know, I don't think we can top this year. The exhibition was amazing. When it happened, I was like, the kid inside was like, oh my God, how did I make this happen? You know, and it was their help. First and foremost, the events will always be because of the players. The players are what really make it hype. I just give them a platform with the entrances, and that's really helped get the word out there. But look at an event like PAX and stuff. It's always in the same place. They just sell it out, and people have a great time. All the developers show what's new. So we need to work together with these companies to make sure they have products coming out to show. But this is a great step. I don't really know how you get bigger from here. The arena, we're going to see how the arena goes this Sunday. I'm really excited to see that come together. I wonder how the flow is going to go from a fighting game standpoint. It's not like a League of Legends where it's that one game all day and you watch that. It's a collection, but that should hopefully bring everyone together and just keep growing from there. But every year I always add one thing that doesn't break the budget. This year was lighting, thanks to Avyd, a company I work for now. They sponsored the event and partnered with me. And like last year was Cyber Power, where I was able to get the rigging above, which like just to press a button to rig stuff is like $3,000 of labor, right? It's crazy. So 5 years ago, I would not have imagined I could do that CEO. Now I've been growing and it's been working. So to step up the production a little bit better scheduling. A lot of games take longer than any of us want them to, but you got to that's how it is, right? So there's lots of ways to make it better, and I'm already working on fixing everything from this year, where next year will just dwarf it.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about that. What about CEO 2015? Were you kind of disappointed in, and what are you really hoping to improve on for next year?
Well, 2016, sorry. Space was an issue. More space alleviates almost 90% of your problems. It's really crazy. So capping it, I might have to do a cap because I don't know what's going to happen if I'm at the same venue again as I look for somewhere 2 years out, because it's crazy now. Summertime in Orlando is near impossible to find something, especially better than I have a great venue. Right. But a lot of little things, complaints here and there, mostly player complaints, which they have the right to complain about, and just want to fix that stuff. Pop bonuses are always an issue. If there's no developer support, it's hard for the TOs to take money that we need to run the event to throw it into a game that doesn't have a return on investment, so to speak, but it's up to the players to help us promote and do compendiums now. I did one of the first FGC compendiums with a Teespring drive. I was a pioneer yet again. And it worked out. It raised about $1,700, but people were happy, and I still see the shirts here today. So everyone wins, right? Stuff like that. I know like Genesis did a great compendium with Smash GG. So there's ways that if the community wants to support, and now Evo gets to try out that new bits cheering with Twitch, I think that could be a game changer if it works out. So even commentators can get a little bit extra for their hard work. So a lot of little things. I wrote a whole article about it on CEOGO. I'm not shy about what's wrong and how to fix it. So.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're gonna finally go a little bit outside the tournament organizer side, because you do a whole bunch of stuff. You worked for Iron Galaxy for a while. What exactly could you describe your job there, and what did you feel like you had an impact on the most in your time there?
Oosh, that's a great question. Iron Galaxy is an amazing company to work for. I had a great time. They sent me my dream job. I got to go to Japan and show off Dive Kick on the Square Enix stage. And I'm actually a huge RPG guy. I just don't have time as much, but I played Final Fantasy VII God 20 times from start to finish, right? So I got to learn the community management side. I've always naturally done it with CEO because it's my baby. I know how to talk to people about something I'm passionate about. So I learned the more professional side of media. I worked with a great PR mentor that taught me on press releases, professional stuff. So that helped me with the CEO stuff. As in terms of impact, I really enjoyed the KI community, but that community is so strong online that not having a local offline presence was a challenge for me, because I'm so used to running CEO through local, and so that was a learning experience. I think I could have done a much better job at it, to be honest with you, but I loved it. The KI community is great, very passionate. I learned a lot from the people I worked with, such as Adam Hart. He taught me how to run events, to be honest with you. From UFGT days, he put me in Dive Kick. So it's crazy how we all come together. But it was great working there. I just felt that events was my way to go. That's really what I'm passionate about. So it was time to pursue. But I had a great time at that job. Iron Galaxy is great. I love what they've been doing with KI. It's still going strong. They work on a lot of other stuff too. That was really great. It was a awesome experience to see how a fighting game was actually made. Just to walk into a meeting like, we have this done, but this is stopping us, and I never saw that side. Right. So that opportunity was amazing, and that all happened from CEO and meeting Dave Lang that sponsored CEO one year for so it all came together. But I moved on. I moved to Avyd Inc., Avyd.com. It's an esports platform site that's going to be really beneficial to players that just want to compete consistently, win a little bit of extra money when there's not a tournament going on, but there's also free tournaments, all that. So as soon as that's out, I'm going to be really pushing that hard for the community, just because a lot of players deserve to make money from their passion. They really do. I wouldn't give up your day job, but if there's an opportunity to make more and have a better lifestyle and enjoy doing it, it's great. So I hope I can help accomplish that for the FGC.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I was talking with James Chen earlier, and he was saying that he doesn't know where exactly the next level is, but the one thing that he really wants is for people to be able to make a living off of this, to not have to worry about work a 40-hour job a week, So I think that that's really a good step for us. Now, backtracking a little bit, I just completely remembered that I want to ask you this. So you, besides CEO, you also do some other kind of side tournaments. So you do CEO Otaku, you do CEO Never Sleep, CEO Winterfest. How did you...
Thanks for paying attention.
Yeah, when did you decide, like, okay, I can actually do more tournaments now? Or when did you think that this is what I can do now, instead of just only doing CEO?
It was free time, really. Now I don't have so much. CEO is such a big undertaking, just the big one itself. So it's like I'm already working on the next 2 years, right? And I just did it. I had local communities help me. I had enough equipment myself. I literally have like 30 BenQs in my garage. And so it was just easy to do, and it's fun. It's really a gathering. And my favorite part was we would all pack up at like 11 o'clock and go have a big 30-person dinner. So I want to do more. I'm going to be focusing on the Avyd side, helping out with their Avyd Winter Championships, which will have great pop bonuses and all that for the players. And see how things go, but I would love to keep doing local events because it keeps the local community interested. I mean, Smash has weeklies with the gaming nights and Polarity that is 100 players each week, and I wish I could do that full time, but I like to let the little guys run all those events while I work on the big one, which I also hire the little guys to help run CEO, and they get their experience. Then who knows where they'll end. Maybe Florida will have a bigger event than CEO one day. I would love to see it. I genuinely would, so because it makes everyone stronger. But yeah.
I mean, that's what we can only hope for, and in the end, like that, people just constantly improve on everything.
Yep.
Yeah, but as you said, you have that PR experience. You know what it's like, not only in CEO, but just the greater esports scene. So how do you feel that Capcom has handled Street Fighter V as an esport with the Capcom Pro Tour? And let's be honest, there's been a little bit of controversy with the game itself, whether it be with like, oh, there's no story mode, or there's 8 frames of input lag. How do you feel about all that?
I mean, they put it out so Final Round could have it, and to support the hardcore scene. But we need the casuals to keep growing the games. But I think they're bouncing back. They've made some announcements this weekend. I trust those guys over there, just knowing how hard the development process is and how long things can take. I know they have some amazing things in the works. It's just going to take time. And I mean, 5,000 people here competed, man. That's one of the largest open bracket tournaments outside of like the World Series of Poker, I believe, in a single 2 days. Yeah, like, it's incredible. If it wasn't for all these volunteers, this wouldn't be possible, right? Yeah. And they've bounced back. I think they're going to keep making it better. I mean, look at Street Fighter 4. The first year, it was a bare bones game. And now, look, 8 years later, it was still bigger than ever. Street Fighter 5 is going to have the same treatment, I believe. I don't think it'll be across Tekken at all. Yeah, gems. I mean, I think there is a market in DLC. I'd love to see extra costume DLC, like maybe like a CEO belt on a character, and that's in-game currency, so you never know. And just stuff like that, that's the way to go. And Capcom is obviously inspiring all these other events to do their pro tours and their tournament series, stuff like that. So I think Capcom is fine. They're going to do great. I enjoy the game. I just don't have time to play it as much anymore. There are things I liked more about 4 because I was better at it, for now at least. Yeah, well. But Street Fighter 5 has been great. The community's come back stronger than ever, I think. And we'll see how the drop-off happens after the first big Evo. And then otherwise, they're in it for the long haul. They're going to keep supporting us. They're a great team behind it, so I think we're fine. I am glad the story mode did come out. I did start it. I didn't get a chance, but I personally that's why I love the Mortal Kombat series. I play their stories right away. So that's what sells the game to the bigger market. But for the hardcore scene, we got to start doing those compendiums like Dota does, and I think Capcom's going to do right with it and make it even bigger.
Yeah, I definitely think that's something that we can do to step in the right direction and maybe get us to that next level. But again, the FGC is in an incredible point right now. We're at the convention center, things like that. More developers showing support, things like that. And I was talking with James Chen, and he was one of the guys that said, like, we should go esports a few years back, but we want to do it our way. How do you feel like the development of the FGC into more of an esports model or esports ecosystem has developed?
I mean, I wish Evo would do a few things sooner, so we could have all built things up together. It's funny because, like, with CEO, now that the numbers have gotten there, a lot of companies are like, oh, so you do an esports event. And in my mind, I'm like, I should have just said CEO is an esports event 5 years ago, because who knows where I'd be. I think that just that word alone would have changed things. But seeing the ESPN, the Yahoo esports, all these supporters is amazing. And it's just going to get better. And I think we're on the right course right now. We really are. It's just the problem with the fighting game community is there's so many different games. It's like you should play the game that you enjoy playing, who you have more of a local scene with, which has better online. So there's still going to be that divide that's always going to be there. But all these games are going to a point, like CO Taco proved there's enough of an anime community to run a big anime event. But year-round stuff, the Capcom Pro Tour is a great start. We're on ESPN Sunday. You know, that's exciting to have Evo in there, have Mike Ross and Seth Killian, two of the best guys in the business, to commentate, best guys to represent this community. So we're getting there. I don't think people watching at home on ESPN are like, oh, I'm going to go pick up this game right now, you know. But if it makes one or two people think about doing it, success.
Yeah, that's all that matters in the end, right?
Yeah.
Now, I asked James Chen this as well. You know, we are at a good point. There's always some problems. What you just mentioned, there's a lot of games, so it's kind of hard to balance all of that. What do you think is another problem that the FGC as a whole has to tackle?
Different systems. There's too many different. You have GameCube, Wii U here, Xbox One, PS4. No, nothing on PC. Yeah, CRT. I was helping them unload, and I'm like, God, we're getting too old for this. So that's the biggest problem, I think. Just there's no one system. I would love some like the Ouya, for example, just some Ouya, FGC Ouya, to have every game on, and then you're set. And then everyone has the same thing, but that's not going to happen, right? Who knows what Nintendo's going to do now? Like Pokemon Go and mobile could be a big thing, you know, stuff like that. But I mean, everyone's having a good time. That's what really matters at these events. They're going to take away awesome merch and swag from these companies that are supporting, and it's great to see more vendors getting involved in the FGC. That you go to like a PAX East or an E3, there's so many vendors that are selling gaming-related material. The Capcom brand, the KI brand, now that they have all their stuff out, Mortal Kombat, Smash even, finally starting to see artists. I'm like, guys, you need to make Smash stuff. I'm sure there's licensing stuff to deal with, but it's all growing. All aspects of the scene are growing. So that's really the only problem, is just too many different systems. So no unity. But Sunday will bring everyone together when we have 5 different unique games going on in an arena. It's going to be insane.
It's going to be absolutely incredible. I was so happy when I heard that it was going to be on ESPN. Do you think that TV is something that we should really stress, or do you think that that's just something that's an added bonus for us?
It's a great bonus. You don't want to lower its value, but I mean, I think TV at this point needs stuff like us more than we need the TV. Twitch has changed the game. Online is just insane numbers, but it's exposure. And you're going to see parents that are probably going to watch ESPN and like, okay, what is this? Wait, my son or child might like this, and then that's your next generation of players. So it's a huge added bonus. It's a big win for Evo. It's a big win for the FGC. I'm excited. I really can't wait to see it. Let's just hope tournament standard time doesn't happen. That can happen at any event. We've all fallen to that, but I know they have plans for that. It's going to be big. But ESPN being on ESPN finally, right? It was, I think, 2 years behind, but now it's happening. We can be grateful for it, and I'm glad Evo's leading the way. And then I think once Evo does well with it, they're going to start reaching out to other events, and that's why you have to step up your event and the production alone, because nobody's going to give you money just to do your production without believing in the event first and what you can do. Right. Another piece of advice I tell people: first 3 years of CO, I didn't ask for a dime from sponsors. I go, I'm a new event. I want to show you what I'm capable of. Can I just get your logo and some prize support? And then if you're happy with how I did with you, let's make it bigger next year. It went bigger every year. So.
I mean, more than anything, just seeing the growth of your event is just proof of what happened. You know, the success and how that was a good model. And I don't know if I have anything else to say, man. We talked a lot. I feel like I should, but I don't really remember. So, are there any shout outs you want to give? Words you want to say to your fans? How can your fans follow you?
CO Jebailey, CO Gaming. Pay attention to Avyd. Got a lot of stuff coming soon once the website launches. So I'll be pushing a lot of that. I'll be streaming way more when that happens. Just keep playing, having fun, and always let the events know what we can do to make them better. And hopefully we're all listening.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned to esportsheaven.com for more coverage of EVO 2016. We'll see you.